Hello, we're going to begin with lesson 1-1 today, chapter 1, lesson 1. This is on variables and expressions.
Why is April 1st so tired? You'd be tired too after a 31-day march.
We are going to always begin with our academic standard that we're studying today. The academic standard is 7.3.1. This Indiana academic standard is to use variables and appropriate operations to write an expression, a formula, an equation, or an inequality that represents a verbal description. Now we're going to write the definition for a variable. A variable is a letter that stands for a number. Now, back when you were in elementary, first or second grade, your teachers may have given you papers where there was a triangle plus 1 equals 4, and you figured out that the triangle is 3. You were doing algebra back then. We just didn't call it that. We didn't call them variables because you would have been very confused. If a teacher would have said a plus 1 equals 4, you would have been very, very confused. But you're now to the point where you can understand that a variable is just taking the place of a number. It's just holding that spot. Now's a good time to pause the video if you need more time to copy down these notes. An algebraic expression is a mathematical phrase that uses variables, numbers, and operation symbols to represent a situation. So if you look down below, we have an example of a variable, which is m, which could represent miles on 10 gallons, and we have an algebraic expression, m divided by 10, which could stand for miles per gallon if you're talking about 10 gallons of gasoline. Now's a good time to pause the video if you need more time to copy down these notes. Remember, if at any time during the note-taking process you have questions, be sure to record them in your notes so that we can talk about them tomorrow in class. Okay, now we're going to look at some examples of what you're going to be working on tonight for homework or tomorrow for homework. We're going to be identifying expressions. We're going to identify each expression as a numerical expression or algebraic expression. Remember, algebraic means that it is contains a variable. So if we take a look at this first one, we have 7 times 3. That's a multiplication sign. It does not contain a variable. Since 1a, 7 times 3, does not contain a variable, it is a numerical expression. It's numerical. Now we're going to look at the next example. We have example B, which is 4t. 4t mathematically means 4 times t. In this case, it does contain a variable. The variable is t. Often it helps to identify the variable before you decide if it's algebraic or numerical. Since it does contain the variable t, that would make it an algebraic expression. Now's a good time to pause the video if you need more time to copy down these notes. Now we're going to be writing an algebraic expression. We're going to write an algebraic expression for the cost of P pens priced at 29 cents each. So if you think in terms of words, we have 29 cents times the number of pens. We just don't know how many pens we bought. So we're going to let P equal the number of pens. So we're going to take P times 29 cents. Now when we write this, we're better off to write we should write the new number in front of the variable. That is the better way to write it. And we don't use a multiplication sign whenever we're multiplying numbers and variables. Now I'd like you to try these 3 problems on your own. Remember, you're telling me whether they're numerical expressions or algebraic expressions. If it's an algebraic expression, you also have to identify the variable. Go ahead and try them all 3 on your own. Pause the video to complete these 3 problems. The first example is algebraic, and the variable is x. The second example is numerical. It's a numerical expression because there are no variables. The third example is algebraic, and the variable is d. Now is a good time to pause the video if you need more time to copy down these notes. Now we're going to look at another example. For 2a, it says bagels cost 50 cents each. Write an algebraic expression for the cost of b bagels. Well, if we knew how many bagels we had, we would take the number of bagels times 50 cents each. Well, we're going to do the same, except this time we're going to use b for the number of bagels. So you will end up having 0.50b. Remember, when multiplying a number and a variable, we don't use any symbol in between. For part B, it says write an algebraic expression for the number of hours in m minutes. That means we're going to take the minutes, m minutes, and divide it by 60, because there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. Now, when we write division problems, we can either write them as a fraction, or we can write them using a division sign. Now is a good time to pause the video if you need more time to copy down these notes. Now I want you to try and write an algebraic expression for each word phrase. Pause the video at this time so that you can try each one of these on your own. For the first one, 9 more than a number y. More than means we're going to add. So you should have had 9 plus y or y plus 9. For the next one, 4 less than a number n. Less than can be a little bit confusing. Less than means we're going to subtract, but we're not going to take 4 minus n. We're actually going to take n minus 4. I want you to think about if we had a number in there. If we said 4 less than 10, 4 less than 10 is 6. To get that answer numerically, or using subtraction, we would have taken 10 minus 4, not 4 minus 10. So when you see the phrase less than, you know you're going to subtract. We're actually going to put whatever's in front of the less than after whatever is after the less than. So 4 less than a number n is n minus 4. For the third one, a number z times 3. We're going to multiply. But remember, when we multiply a number and a variable, we always write the number first, followed by the variable, and no symbol in between. So we should have written 3z. For the fourth one, a number a divided by 12, that would be a over 12 or a divided by 12 using the division sign. You really need to start getting in the habit of writing those as fractions, because as we progress this year, division will be written in fraction form. For the final one, 5 times the quantity 4 plus a number c. When we see times the quantity, that actually means we have to use parentheses. We should have had 5 parenthesis 4 plus c close parenthesis. Pause the video if you need more time to copy down any of these expressions. This is the end of lesson 1-1. I hope that you understand everything that we went over. If you have any questions, you need to write them down, and we'll go over those tomorrow in class.